One. Hey boardies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon. This is Time Division. This is the prototype. Very interesting, quite odd, interesting game. It has 18 cards. It's a two-player game, 20 to 60 minutes, played over 3 eras. The second era is the Dark Age. The first era, which I'll be talking to you about, is Ancient Egypt. And we also have the 80s, but let me just talk to you about one round in this game. So you take 9 cards each, you're then going to draft and pick a card and see if you want to keep it, if not pass it across. Let's show you what happens when you happen to have a card. So initially you'll be taking 3 cards each, so a total of sort of 3 rounds of doing this. And you're thinking, well, do I want to keep these cards? This card doesn't make much sense, but basically it's about you having some discard areas, you have some communal areas. I have a blue stack here and a red stack, and if you look down, they have their red stack and their blue stack, which is a very interesting thing. So this kind of, I don't really want any of these cards because they don't make much sense, so I'd give them this card, so I'd have this here. Then this card I don't really care about, so that goes face down. And maybe I play this card out here. So I happen to have the shipbuilder. Now we both play cards at the same time, so they would take this card into their discard, and into their hand, face down. They'll play a card, and what they're going to do is, we're going to compare cards. So imagine they had a 3, I've got a higher value. What that means is I have initiative. So I can pick, either have 7 victory points, and take it and place it face down, and score 7 points at the end of the game, which can get lost. Or I can trigger the ability, in which case they get, obviously, the amount of points instead. So over here, this means blue, I can move a blue card, so shipbuilder's over here, so look at this play rate if you need to. Take the card from your decision space and move it to your temporary space. So it means basically it's delayed effect and it's going to trigger next round. So show a different example. We're going to have a card such as a priest. So the way that's going to work is you take a 5 influence, so basically you want to have certain cards triggering. So what you can do is, in this instance, you can take a card from your display area, from your hand, and replace it with something in the discard area, the past. In this instance, you don't really want to do that because there's nothing here. So I'd take 8 points. So I would take 8 points, so that would come down here, and they trigger their ability. As you can see, there's nothing in the discard, so they won't do anything. So you go again, so you have a play out a card, take a card, give them a card, and then go face over here, and 1 card is going to go here. And in this instance, this is quite good because if they happen to play a 5, and of course they're going to play out their card first, I can react. That means the 5 card can come to me. That's how that's going to work. So ultimately, you're toing and throwing with where cards go. There are some interesting cards in here. So for example, we have a 10, which has no extra ability. So if you happen to see a 10 card, it basically means you're getting a straight up 10 victory points. Having said that, you might find if you can dig through the deck and grab it from over here, then that's a lot more beneficial. So over here, if this is worth 10 points, you might want to play it because you're going to guarantee yourself an initiative and get 10 points. But if, when you play a card here, give a card to your opponent and place 1 face down, and you have another card, such as this card, then in this instance, then you can burn through it and grab it, but either off them and give it to yourself, or what you can do is find a card like this, whereby if you play it and trigger the ability, you can take a card if a 10 card exists here, and again bring it to yourself. So blue is always closest to you. Blue of course represents them as much as it does you because it depends on who's wanting to trigger the effect, and ultimately going to count all your points along here. Again, you play over multiple rounds, but in the first round it was a tie on 20 points each, and then initiative breaks ties. Very fascinating game, mind crunchy, 20 odd minutes to play, lots of memory to be aware of, and as you can see there's lots of bonus points, 2 points, etc. you can score per round. That's it. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Best on YouTube. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share. Follow along on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And lastly, back to the table.